I am opening this vlog up with some footage of this hummingbird that likes to visit my balcony garden. I always keep fresh nectar out there for her, and I set the camera up this day. She was very hungry. She is feeding on nectar and bugs. She likes to catch the fungus gnats. I have a couple shots of her doing that, and it's so cool. She's just so great for pest control in the garden. I highly recommend getting a hummingbird feeder. Not only that, but they are considered pollinators, so pest control and a pollinator. Two really good things. Here she is hunting for bugs. I often see her out there just zooming around, grabbing bugs. Now let's get into some cooking. These are the purple plum radishes from the garden. They're so beautiful. Wow. I cut them into small pieces and I am air frying them until they are cooked all the way through. Kind of like that. I seasoned them really simply with just salt and pepper. Next, I am cooking the komatsuna. So I sauteed the onions first until translucent or about halfway done. I then poured in the komatsuna stalks, which I personally like. So I will de-stem all of the greens and cut them up, saute those first, and then add in the komatsuna leaves. I also season these very simply with just salt and pepper. And then I added garlic towards the end of cooking. And once the garlic is done cooking, the dish is complete. So this was brown rice on the bottom, the roasted radishes, the sauteed komatsuna, and I air fried 2 pieces of tofu, seasoned them, and that's it. That is the meal. Here is my live reaction of tasting komatsuna for the first time ever. Always have to sniff things, and oh my god. You know what? It tastes just like spinach, actually, and it's so good. Like, I am now a huge komatsuna fan. I am the #1 fan, and everybody should be growing komatsuna. I was not expecting it to be this good. Wow. This is a roasted radish, and, well, it tastes like a roasted radish. I'm not a huge fan of raw radishes, so this is the best way to eat radish for me. And here is the tofu. Obviously amazing. I think that speaks for itself. The next day, I went to the garden, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a garden tour on how everything is doing. This is the catnip. It is so beautiful. I have no issues with it. Nothing. These are purple green beans. They are growing. They're doing well. That's a kale and a collard also doing well. That collard green leaf is massive, and also a grasshopper. They're everywhere. This is corn, and oh my goodness, it's getting so big. It's so tall. It's up to my knees now. Just amazing. There are a few holes, and I'm not sure what's causing that. Maybe a grasshopper, I have no idea. This is a hollyhock. The calendula is totally crowding out the hollyhock. I don't think it's gonna do anything, actually, and I'm kind of sad about that. This is a kale, a baby kale. It's trying its best. One of the kales that I transplanted out died, and I replaced it with a seed. It's a little behind, but I think it'll do okay. These are more purple green beans. They're also growing so well. In front of it to the right over there is a pinto bean. These are also pinto beans. They seem to be growing so well. They're just doing their thing. No issues at all. This is a borage that I planted. They're finally growing. I can't wait to see the flowers whenever they decide to show up. And these are cantaloupes. They are doing very well. No issues so far. I'm so proud of them for hanging around and not dying on me. The tomatoes are doing amazing. I had to buy plants after all of my transplants died, and the plants are just flowering and fruiting constantly. So I'm very happy about that. This is the komatsuna, and I have no issues with it. It's doing so great. These are the lettuces. The left one is Merlot and the right is Buttercrunch. This is arugula. I've allowed it to flower, and the pollinators are absolutely loving it. These are onions. They seem to be doing so well. They're beautiful. They're tall. They're growing. No issues there. Here is another borage. It's much bigger than the other one. ones, and it looks like it's going to be flowering soon. The cucumbers are doing okay, I guess. I don't know why they look like that. The cabbage, Swiss chard, beets, and daikon are doing so well. They are just really, really thriving in this heat. These are also pinto beans. I planted these first, so they are much larger and starting to flower actually. This is the first purple green bean plant I planted, and this leaf is massive. I have no idea what's going on there, but it's doing so well, and it also has some flowers. This is the patch of daikon, and oh my goodness, they are really, really growing and thriving. I cannot wait to harvest them and see what they look like. These are the peppers that I transplanted. They're doing okay, I would say. They're not the strongest looking, but they are trying their hardest to stay alive, and I really, really appreciate that. More onions, also doing very well. This is cilantro. Cilantro is also thriving. It tastes and smells amazing. The potatoes are beautiful. There are a couple of them dying, but for the most part, they're doing just fine. This is a nasturtium, and they are growing, but something is eating them, and they're not doing the best they could do, I think. And these are sugar snap peas. The whole plant is just covered in snap peas, and they taste so good. They're so sweet. I have to grow triple the amount next year. These are the long beans. They are getting eaten by something. I have no idea what, but it really likes the long beans, but not the other beans. Eggplant that I transplanted, they're not looking that great. They're kind of looking a little sad. These are more eggplants, and they seem to be doing a little bit better than the other ones. These are carrots, and they're growing. They're a little patchy, but I'm just going with it. And these are peas, just normal peas. The whole plant is covered in them, just like the snap peas. I'm so excited about it. I love this pea plant so much. I can't wait to plant more this fall. I planted artichokes here, and they are all dead. Yep. Good morning. Hello. I am going to get rid of this lettuce, and I'm going to compost it because I don't want to eat it. It is a little crunchy, and there are a lot of aphids on it, so I'm just going to get rid of it. The arugula over here is blooming, and it's so beautiful. I love it so much, actually. Oh my gosh, there are so many aphids. Whoa. I also have my little handheld hummingbird feeder right here just in case I can get a shot of me feeding it. Oh, I hear it. It just came up to the balcony. That little chirping noise was the hummingbird. So over here, I really want to replant these zinnias in this bed and then use this for something else. Yes, I definitely need to put this in a bed. I think I also want to put one in the corner. Zinnias are planted, and I think in here I want to put this basil. I've been propagating this from store-bought basil, and I would really want to put it into the ground or in some soil. So we'll see how it does. In here, it's got roots. I'm gonna put them in here kind of as a bunch and see how they do. This pot does not have drainage, so I don't know. The basil might not do too well, but I didn't want to ruin a bunch of zinnias, and I'm okay with this basil dying. One other thing I want to plant over here is this spoon tomato. It's still in its plastic pot. My dog bit the top leaf off, and somehow it regrew another leaf. Great. So I'm going to plant it in here and hope that it will do a little bit better in, well, semi-full sunlight and in a bigger area to spread. I'm going to plant it really deep and hope it'll root out the stem, just become stronger. Okay, now I have some seeds to plant. All right, that bird had a lot to say there. This is a yellow squash, and it did have a bloom on it a couple days ago, but I don't think it has enough sun down there, so I'm just gonna place it there for now and see if it'll survive. So I'm gonna plant a bunch of herbs in here. We have radishes, carrots, and a bunch of herbs here, and when the radishes are done, I will plant more herbs. First up is holy basil, also known as tulsi. I grew this last year. It was amazing and had great flowers, so I'm gonna grow it for the smell and the flowers. I dried a whole bunch last year, and I really don't need any more at the moment. This is parsley, Italian parsley. Just having really bad luck with parsley, so let's see if we can get some to grow. I'm just gonna plant it everywhere until it decides to grow. Eventually I'll find the perfect spot to plant it every year until I move out of this place. This is oregano. Still don't have any oregano anywhere. Dill, also don't have any dill anywhere. Hope I can grow at least one plant this year. And this is chervil or chervil or French parsley. Also have not seen any of that growing at the garden, so planting this again. Yeah, these are the weird seeds. These are the seeds. So strange. I'm gonna plant some, I think, between the radish, because by the time it pops up, the radish might be done. And I do have an area right over here. So this is the other spoon tomato. It seems to be doing well in this pot. It does get a good 6 hours plus of sun. I think it's doing well. It's definitely grown pretty fast, I think. This is the moonflower. I know it looks so strange because the leaves were caught in the shell for a very long time. So I kind of helped them out, but this one seems to be getting a new leaf right there. And yeah, they're still upright, so I think they'll do okay. I think I planted 4 seeds and 4 popped up. Pretty great germination right there. This is salad burnet. Kind of looks the same as when I planted it. I'm not sure what it needs. It might need more sun, maybe? I'll have to look it up, but it's doing okay. This is the loofah. I think I planted like 2 seeds and 2 popped up. I should probably thin them, but maybe I won't. I'm just gonna grow them and see what happens. I hope I get at least 1 loofah. It's just kind of an experiment, and we'll see. We'll see what comes from this. This is fireweed. I'm not sure if they're getting enough sunlight. I think that's why they kind of look like that. I should definitely trim this plastic here, and then maybe they'll do better. There we go, look at that. We'll see how these do now that they can get a little bit more sunlight. These are basil that I planted a couple weeks ago. I had like 4 just normal green basil growing, and then 3 of them damped off and they just fell over. 1 was standing, so I dumped a bunch of purple opal basil seeds and just the normal green sweet basil seeds in there. All of them have germinated, which is great. I hope none of them damp off, or if they do, I mean, I hope we have some survivors. So that's what I'm hoping with this.